Monday, Labor Day. We have one class. So I'm basically talking to myself and anybody that frequently, or I guess even just welcome if it's your first time listening to the Whiteboard Talks. Let's start this off on the rails. Off the rails. Now it's off the rails, because I said off the rails wrong. I said on the rails. We're back on the rails. Complete as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. Basically what I was saying is there's no other coaches coaching today, so I'm talking to myself and then anybody that happens to be. Okay. Complete as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes. Main site workout again. So my guess is as good as your guess is not as good as mine. But it's still a guess. So complete as many rounds as possible in 20 minutes of 5 push jerks on the left arm, 5 push jerks on the right arm, followed by 10 push-ups. I mean, it's stacked right on top of each other. You can see, what part of the gravity of the situation might be. Push, push, push. A lot of pushing. We have 20 reps of pushing, followed by, pretty close to 20 reps of pulling. I mean, if you count, we're counting cows, but how many pulls does it take you to get 15 cows? I'm sure there are some that might say 10. I'm sure there are some that might say 30. But if we split the difference between those two, we're back on the rails here. We're at like 20. So it's, likely the scenario here is that we have kind of some independent weightlifting happening in the traditional 5, 10, 15 rep scheme. I mean, we just saw a similar 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 rep scheme the other day that was almost like a smokescreen for kind of how those normally play out, which is 50 of, a movement, 50 of another movement, and then 40, 40, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10, 10. For example, Annie, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 of double unders and sit-ups. So it's not 50 double unders, 40 sit-ups, 30, push-ups or something. It was like that with this one, though, which when I see that, I see 5 different movements, and I think, wow, that's 750 repetitions. So when I see this, I see the 5, 10, 15, but it's easy to forget or just disregard, rather, maybe not forget, but disregard that it is kind of, it's double that as far as time under tension goes. Like my right arm isn't under tension while my left arm is necessarily, but my body is. My midsection is under tension. My legs are under tension. My breathing is labored. So, and I'm pushing for 10 reps, 5 on each arm, but my body is pushing for all 10 reps. And then I switch to the push-ups, and while each arm is recognizing that they just pushed for 5 reps, now we're pushing for 10 more, and then we're pushing with the legs on the rower while we're pulling with the arm. So we're pushing on the push jerks. So I'm going to say, a dumbbell push jerk isn't probably the easiest. It might, some might consider it easier than the barbell. I think the single arm push jerk is easier than the double or the traditional push jerk, whether it's with dumbbells or a barbell. But I won't say that it has to be a push jerk. Maybe, if you're comfortable with it. I always think that you should play with the game that you brought that day. So if you have push jerks in your bag, then you should play with those. Like you should do that movement to reinforce good practices, good habits, and then just get the stimulus of the workout using the movement that it's written. Shoulder to overhead would imply any way possible. So if you can do push jerks, I recommend doing those, just like I said, to acquire the repetitions, practice them. But, if it's tricky, if it throws the movement off too much, it still, you could expose yourself to some push jerks, but maybe the push press is a better workaround for you, especially especially if it makes a difference in the load that you decide on. So if you would maybe take a look at some of the prescribed loads here, 35 pounds, 50 pounds, if you looked at those and thought, I would definitely try that, but the push jerk, I feel like it's a little shaky, but a push press, if I could push press it, then I would say that would be an appropriate substitution, give and take. So if you were looking at a 50 thinking, well, I'll go 35 so I can push jerk, or I could go 50 and push press. It's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but likely I would say, why not give it a try if you feel confident in your push press abilities? So yeah, it's one trip up and down the stairs for the day. As far as like getting rowers out, I don't, just to sort of say where my head's at right now, I don't love the idea of having to traverse the stairs after 20 repetitions. The push-ups can be done on the second floor. The rower can be done on the second floor. The push jerks can be done on the second floor. And we already are in a habit of not dropping dumbbells, especially. Even in our dropping barbells phase, we were never trying to be in the habit of dropping dumbbells or kettlebells. So those could be done on the second floor. However, there's a likely scenario that perhaps the rowers could make their way down for one workout and then make their way back up by the end of the workout, so that we don't have to have anybody that comes in for a Labor Day workout sort of all on the second floor. Plus, that limits some of our options as far as the push-up modifications go. But in the unlikeliest of all the scenarios, I would say we will do the push jerks and the push-ups in the warehouse and then make our way upstairs, catch our breath on the way to the rower. It is a 20-minute workout from start to finish also, so something to consider there. Maybe it would be a welcomed rest by that point.